Hey, welcome. I'm Jamie, and this is my co-host, Eddie. We have Krystal Monteiro, who was pretty bad woman in the fitness scene right
Say
now.
the least.
So she's an Ifbb Pro, and I'm not going to steal her thunder. And Krystal, just give us start with how it all began for you. Not so much, getting into fitness, but tell us about your childhood, and then we can go from there.
Okay. So I grew up in Hudson, Mass, and I moved to Fairhaven when I turned 18. And I've been living here, how old am I now? 32? And I actually just moved back to Hudson this year. So
nice. So you train out of Hudson as well?
now I do, yeah.
You do everything in Hudson.
Yeah.
Nice. So tell us, you had, how did it all start for you on the fitness level? When did it start for you? You're 32. At what age did you say, hey, I'm going to really get into fitness?
I grew up an athlete. I've played soccer my whole life.
Soccer player?
Yeah.
Hold on. Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I grew up playing soccer, so I've always been, competitive. And then
What position did you play?
I played center mid and defense.
Nice.
Yeah. So when I moved this way, I ended up playing soccer at UMass Dartmouth, too.
Oh, you played for UMass?
Yeah.
What high school?
Hudson, Mass.
Hudson, I'm sorry.
Hudson High School,
Yeah.
So I played there, and then I actually tore my ACL playing soccer at UMass Dartmouth. Wow. So that put me out of commission for a little bit. And then when I started, becoming active again and healing, I got into CrossFit. So that's what started my fitness career, I guess you'd call it, getting into lifting. And when that happened, so that was in my early 20s, there was a girl at my gym who was prepping for a bodybuilding show. So that was the first time my eyes were open to that, and I kind of watched her journey, and I was intrigued by it. So I was like, you know what, I'll try it. So that was my first show was in 2017 for the NPC in the bikini division, and that's basically where it started. And then I turned pro in 2019.
2000.
What's that process like to turning pro?
So
what kind of qualifications and all that jazz that has to go into that process?
So the NPC is the amateur division. So you need to place, depending on the show, you need to place top 2 to get invited to a national show. And then when you go to the national show, that's where you have the capability to get your pro card. So some shows you have to get first place to get your pro card, and some it's first and second. So the national, I did 2 national shows before I actually got my pro card. So the first one, I did horrible.
What went wrong?
So sometimes even if you do well in an amateur show, you're not necessarily ready for a national stage. So you may do well local. So my first show was a local show in Boston. I got third place, and that was an invitational for me there to go to a national show. So my second show ever was a national show. So I don't know, sometimes even if you get the invite and you place well enough, you're not necessarily ready for a national show. So I don't think I was. I hadn't built enough. So didn't do well my first national show. Took a little bit of time off to build some muscle, and then I competed in 2 more shows, and then the third one after that was when I got my pro card, and that was in Miami.
So these shows they're invite only. It's not like you could just sign up. You
can't just sign up for a national show. No, you need to qualify through a regional show first.
Are there sponsors involved at all? Do you get sponsored by anyone?
Once you turn pro, there are more more opportunities for sponsorships. I mean, you may see some amateurs with sponsorships because, you know how social media works. So if you see a girl or a guy with a lot of following, they might get some sponsorships. Yeah. But typically it comes around once you turn pro.
Gotcha. So that's... You got a show coming up.
Yes.
And it's April 30th to May 1st, I believe, in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, April 30th, yep.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh.
And you're preparing for that right now.
Yes.
Give us a mindset of, I'm sure it's crazy to prepare for something like that. I mean, I've always, speaking to someone like you, we've always assumed, we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and about, is there any cheating that's involved? Or while you're cutting, is it like a cheat day or not cheat day? Or do you just have to be mentally prepared 100%? There's no messing around. this is my diet, this is my routine, and this is what I'm sticking with?
So, I mean, it's pretty much tunnel vision. There's not a lot of room for like leeway, especially this close. I'll be honest, in the very, very beginning of prep, so I started prep for this. So I've already actually competed. I competed 2 weeks ago for my first pro show.
I saw that, yeah.
So that was my pro debut. That was in Orlando, the Clash. So I took 6th place there. But I've been preparing for these shows since before Christmas. So it's been a while.
Yeah. So you were crowned Ifbb Pro Bikini?
Yes.
When was that?
That was in 2019.
2019.
In Miami, yep.
In Miami.
Yep. So I hadn't been on stage since that.
Since that.
Yeah.
Has that opened some doors for you since? To get recognized more?
I guess so. I mean, I do have a sponsorship for my bikini through Toxic Angels. So that's a big deal because even though these bikinis are so teeny tiny, they're so expensive.
Are they really?
Yes, they're so expensive. So that was awesome having that opportunity.
So they hook you up with a tire?
They hook you up with the suits. And then you get like a promo code. So, I share certain things that they're posting in certain suits, and then people can use my code to get discounts on their stuff. And then there's kickbacks in that way for me.
So take me through a Krystal Monteiro day. What time you get up? What do you do? What's your routine?
So I struggle with sleeping in. So I'm up at like 4 o'clock in the morning every day. Not because I have to be, but just because I am. And so typically I wake up, I make my coffee with protein in it. So it's like a mix of just black coffee with protein powder. I have that with a rice cake with peanut butter on it. Everything's measured out. So my peanut butter is measured out. And then I typically kind of slowly get ready for the day. I'm a big meditator, so I meditate every morning. I journal, and then I get my booty to the gym.
When you meditate, what are you thinking about? Like, take me through that, because I've heard a lot of people discuss meditation and all that. Mm-hmm.
So
but I've never done it, so I'm not like really sure like how to do it or what is involved.
So I strictly, as of right now, because I am fairly new to it, I do guided meditations. So there's certain apps you can use. So I use this app called the Calm app. Mm-hmm. So especially if you're just starting out, you're not going to be able to meditate for 30 minutes. It's too hard to like kind of shut down for that long.
So when you're meditating, you're not thinking about anything.
That's the goal.
That's the really?
Yes. Which is very hard, and like anything else, it takes a lot of practice.
Dang.
So, the guided meditations are good because they talk you through it, and you can choose different ones depending on why you're meditating. So like they have meditations, which I actually did this one before my most recent show when I was sitting backstage. It's like the title of it was before a performance. Mm-hmm. And so basically the guided meditation just talks you through it, like how to calm your mind, find your confidence, how to stay calm, things like that. And it talks a lot about like breathing, like focusing on your breathing, because that's how you can kind of channel those thoughts out and focus on the presence.
On breathing, you're not really focusing on anything else.
Exactly.
And then you're just breathing through the whole meditation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that just helps you kind of just like close everything out, calm down your nerves, chill out.
So when you're done with your meditation, how do you feel? Like if you do it right, what's the goal?
So I guess the goal is just to be present. A lot of times we're so focused on like the future or the past. Mm. So if you're into that type of things, if you focus too much on what's coming next in the future, it can cause anxiety. Cause you to stress out about things that haven't even happened yet. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we focus too much on things that have happened in the past, maybe mistakes you've made or things that hurt you or whatever, and that can cause depression. So the main goal with meditation is just staying in the present moment and focusing on right now, and that kind of at least helps me just kind of calm any worry, any anxiety, and just be in the moment and be present in what I'm doing. And it just basically calms your nerves, and it just makes me feel a lot happier.
So when Jamie told me you were going to be a guest on our show, I looked you up on Instagram, became one of your followers, and I see a lot of inspiring messaging on your profile. Mm-hmm. Now, who inspires Krystal to be that person that wants to motivate and inspire other people?
Who inspires me in that sense? That's a loaded question. I don't know if I would say like a specific individual. I guess what inspires me is that...
it doesn't have to be a person.
I think what just inspires me is just to be the best version of myself. Mm-hmm. We're our biggest projects, right? We're stuck with ourselves forever. Right. I want to be the best option.
I've been trying to get a six-pack since 6 years old, I think.
I had one at 8.
It's hard
Long
work.
gone.
It's hard work. It's right, man. That's what I was going to ask you because I work construction and
Yeah.
I'm 45. So, and I used to go to the gym a lot more when I was younger. I had more energy. Now that I'm getting older and I pick up shit all day long, what kind of workout do you think a person in my situation should have? Like 2-3 days a week, cardio, weights, light weights, heavy weights, more sets, more reps? What would you, in your experience at the gym, talking to people, whatever, what would you suggest?
Well, I think number one is baby steps. Biggest mistake people make is like going balls to the walls too fast out of the gate because then you tend to give up quicker that way. So I would start off 2 days a week, and I'm always going to recommend weightlifting because with strength training you can lose weight, you can gain muscle, you can tone, but start slow, and you hear a lot of the times like I work all day, especially if you have a physical job. I'm exhausted, I'm tired. It's the last thing I want to do. What you'll find is that even if you just take like 30 minutes, I would say do it before you go to work. I don't know what time you start though.
Oh, I leave the house at 3:30.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, I get up at 3:30, leave the house at 4.
You will find that if you can at least take 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week, you're going to be more energized. But really the biggest advice I would give you is it's 90% of the battle is diet. I mean, I work out all the time, all year round.
Could you go through your diet like off season and during season, or is it the same, consistent?
It's different. When I'm prepping for a show, my diet is completely different than when I'm off season.
Can you take us through that?
Like the difference between the two, or
Just the whole diet on each side of it.
So when I'm prepping for a show, I'm cutting down weight. So I'm trying to get lean enough to step on stage. And there's no like goal weight per se. It's just seeing how your body's reacting and how it looks. Where when I'm in off season, I try to find, I know my body now, so I know what I look like at certain weight, is to try to find a weight that I can maintain comfortably. So off season, I follow macros, which is, your proteins, your carbs, your fats, calories, things like that. But it's more food freedom. So I can essentially eat whatever I want as long as I stick with those in those numbers. So I use an app called MyFitnessPal. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yep.
Okay. So you basically punch in your numbers. So I'm eating X amount of fat, carbs, protein, and you can plug in whatever you want to eat.
That in itself takes discipline.
Yes.
I have it on my phone. I don't use it.
And it's tricky too because
I probably get like one day into it, and it's like
it's tricky, but it's like anything else. It just takes practice.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm prepping for a show, I don't do just macros. I actually follow a specific meal plan. So I've been eating the same exact thing for the last, what has it been?
How much?
3 months.
What do you eat a day though? Like 6-7 meals or little portions?
So I eat 3 meals, but then I have snacks throughout the day.
So when you talk about your weight, where you got to be for your weight, doesn't it come out to the body fat percentage as well? So what is it, like 7% to really?
I
show
honestly
those
have
abs?
no clue what my body fat percentage is.
Really?
I haven't checked it since my show in Miami.
So you're strictly basing it on your weight, what you think is the comfort.
Yeah, and what I look like. Because over the years you put on muscle, so you're not going to be the same.
Right.
Like, so when I got my pro card, I was down to, I'm only 5'1", so I'm a little person, but I was down to 105 pounds. This past show, I was 110 pounds. But I think I look better now than I did at 105. So it's different. I've put on muscle in the last 2 years, year and a half.
Right.
You know how someone like looks in the mirror and they think they're fat or whatever? Like, are you a good judge of yourself when you're looking in the mirror? You're looking at reality. And
I don't think there's anything fat about her.
No, I'm saying.
I know what you mean, though, yeah.
Like sometimes you look in the mirror and you're like, you think you look good, but then you see a picture of yourself, you're like, what the hell?
Right.
There's definitely a sense of like you're your biggest critic, especially when you get into that. I mean, I'm literally signing up to be judged physically. So yeah, of course I pick myself apart, and I'm going to see things that maybe you don't see. And but I mean, I think I'm delusionally confident sometimes. Like I don't.
That's good. Then.
I don't beat myself up, and I've done it enough that I know what to expect, and I know the process. But what I always tell people who are considering bodybuilding is you need to have a good relationship with your body image before you ever even consider this. Because if you're struggling with any type of like eating disorder or body dysmorphia, I don't think bodybuilding is a healthy place for you. Because it's just now you're focusing even more on those things. So definitely super important to have a good body image before you do anything like this.
I agree with you totally.
Yeah, so let's go back to your routine at the gym. Yeah. So you work out every day?
Yes. Well, I lift 5 days a week. And right now I am doing 7 days of cardio.
And how long are you spending at the gym?
I would say average about an hour lifting. And as far as cardio goes, right now I'm doing 3,000 calories throughout the week.
And what's the cardio based on? Like a HIIT cardio or is just?
I do LISS, low intensity, steady state. So I just do incline walk on the treadmill. Gotcha. So I break it up. The beauty of like the calories, instead of saying like, okay, you have to go and do 45 minutes every day, 3,000 broken up between the week, I can break it up depending on how I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. So if like earlier in the week, I felt great. I had a ton of energy. So I banged out 600 calories on Monday, 600 on Tuesday. Yesterday, I felt awful. I was just so beat up and tired. So I did 400. So as long as I hit that 3K by the end of the week, then I'm golden. I hit my goal.
How about alcohol? Non-existent or
not while I'm in prep?
Not while you're in prep.
So in the beginning, I started to say this earlier. In the beginning of prep, when I have like 18 weeks, 20 weeks, I'm a little bit more lenient with myself. Not every competitor is like this. I know myself. I know how quickly I can turn things around. So in the beginning, I prepped around Christmas and New Year's. I'm not going to totally not enjoy myself. Like life's too short. So
what?
I had a few drinks on Christmas.
Cheesecake?
No, so food wise, I won't. Okay. I won't step out of
alcohol, you'll give
in
a little.
The booze, I'll give in a little bit, but I never with my food. I always stay on track.
All right, I see.
But if my
I bet you're drinking a low calorie drink.
Yeah, so my go-to is tequila on the rocks with like a bunch of limes, like all the limes.
Just the limes, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like a margarita, really.
Yeah, minus all the sugar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's my go-to. But I'll never do that this close to a show.
No cheating at all. Nothing.
No, unless my coach is giving me a free meal. So I have one Saturday.
Oh, nice.
So you have a coach?
I have a coach. Yes.
So
want to give a shout out?
Yes, Eddie Cruz. He is the best. He is a trainer at Anytime Fitness in Freetown.
Oh, nice. Local too.
Yeah. So he's been my coach.
Does he travel up to Hudson to train you up there?
No. So he doesn't train me like in person. He does my programming. So he sends me my workouts every week, and he sends me my meal plans and any changes, and then basically everything.
Yeah, he's got your manifest of really what should happen, not happen, and you follow it to the T.
Yeah.
And he keeps you accountable.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, in a sense, yes, I could do this myself because it's what I do for a living, but you nailed it. It's accountability. Right. When you're answering to yourself, it's easy, especially when you're in your emotions and you're tired and you're this and you're that, like excuses. To give yourself a little excuses or leeway. Right. So having somebody to check in with definitely helps a lot.
Definitely. Good.
Jamie, I'm going to ask her about like day of competition. Mm-hmm. How is it with the other females? Is it tacky? Is it like competitive? Are you all good sports? Judgmental towards each other?
That's a good question.
That is a good question because I think a lot of people assume that it's super catty. It's not.
It's not?
No, everybody's
you guys are all like supportive?
Super supportive.
Oh, that's awesome. Then.
Super supportive.
I had the wrong idea then.
Super friendly. Everybody's cheering each other on. Yeah, it's the opposite of catty.
How about on the men's side? What would you think?
I have no idea. I don't honestly on show day. I'm so tunnel vision. I don't really pay attention to what they're doing.
Participated in a show where you weren't involved, where you could just be a spectator?
Yeah, so my sister is actually a competitor as well.
Oh, great.
She competes in a different federation than I do. So I'm in the bikini division for the Ifbb Pro League. She is also a pro for the WMBF.
What's her name?
Suzette Monteiro.
Nice.
So she lives in Hudson as well.
Oh, cool.
But she's in the bodybuilding division. So
she's like...
She's a lot bigger. Yeah, she's got bigger muscles than I do.
So you're in the fitness. She's in.
I'm in bikini. She's in bodybuilding.
She's in bikini bodybuilding. Yeah. Obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, two totally different divisions.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't fit in her division. She wouldn't fit in mine. But so I've gone to her shows. So I've been spectators there.
Well, women. Have you women ever trained together?
Me and my sister, all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. Now that I live in Hudson, yes.
Do you get competitive, like with her and you, like trying to lift heavier, or
not necessarily? We're typically, because I mean, she has a coach too who does her programming, so our workouts are never the same. But yeah, we're definitely always like, how much did you lift on that? How much did you lift on that?
I can see
and
that.
I mean, I hate to say this because my ego is too big sometimes, but she's definitely stronger than me.
Right. Now,
Especially right now because I'm a whopping 110
I know you're in a
pounds.
different, completely, league. Could you get to her level if you wanted to? If you trained to get there and put on some muscle and get bigger. I'm not saying
It's
something
never
you
been my
want.
goal, but could I do it? Yeah, I definitely could.
You could.
Yeah.
But it's not something you see yourself doing.
No, I'm happy. So also the difference between our two divisions is the WMBF is an all natural federation. So they get polygraphed before their show the day before, and if they place, don't quote me on this, but if they place top 3, they have to do a urine sample to confirm that they're not doing any drugs. Mm-hmm. The federation that I compete in is not a drug tested federation. So for bikini, you don't really see. I don't think it's necessary to take any extra gear or anything like that, as people call it.
They're going for a more lean,
so a leaner,
tight
softer look. Yeah. More feminine look. So the bodybuilding division in the IFBB, I could never do that naturally. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to stay in my federation, I mean, it's not my goal anyway, so it doesn't matter. But but in an all-natural federation, yeah, I could definitely get to the place that my sister's at and that body type. But
nice. So what do you do for fun when, like, off-season?
Such a funny question. What do I do for fun? So surprisingly, I'm very into fitness and health, but I love to go out to eat and drink. Mm-hmm. I do love to dance, and I have a dog that I love and I spend a lot of time with. I'm super close to my family, so a lot of my activities and fun is revolved around them.
Was it like a struggle during this past year with COVID and everything? Did it hit you hard? Did you find yourself a little bit more depressed during all of this, or pretty much stayed focused in your life where you can just tackle what you have to tackle on a daily basis? Well,
as far as COVID with competing, I tried twice to compete for my pro debut during the beginning of COVID, and both times the shows got canceled or postponed. So that was frustrating.
Training.
Yeah, so I was dieting for 6 to 8 weeks, and then I found out it got postponed. So then I took a little break, and then when I found out the new date, I went back on prep. Then it got canceled. So yeah, there was some wasted time, I guess. But I mean, nothing's ever wasted.
So is this a full-time gig for you, or do you have another a job, a regular
So my
job?
full-time job is the business that I run, Superhuman Fitness.
Let's talk about that then.
So I do one-on-one personal training, and then I do since I've moved to Hudson, I've been taking a little break on the in-person training, and I'm strictly doing online programming, which is going to be temporary. Eventually, I'll go back to taking in-person clients. But so I offer meal plans and then programming as far as programming your workouts based off of your goals.
Nice. And we're going to get into that more. I definitely want to get into that more.
Sure.
But before that, what's your nationality?
I'm Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yes.
So favorite food?
Bacalhau brás.
Bacalhau brás.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, popsicle, all that stuff.
Love
bread.
it all.
You really, family gathering, holidays come up, you're in training. You're not even.
No, so Easter was, so I was actually in Orlando for Easter for my last show. So my family got together knowing that I was going to be away the week before. But the week before was right when I was starting peak week, which is the week before your show. So I brought my food. Everyone's eating the popsicles and then all the food, and I had my food and I just watched them eat.
Okay.
Which was tough. I mean, there's no lie.
That's discipline.
That was hard.
At its finest.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys are Portuguese, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So you know how Portuguese mothers and grandmothers are. They're like, oh my God, you're so skinny. Eat.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily it's been years now, so my family's used to it.
You speak Portuguese?
A little bit. Conversationally, I can get by. But yeah, so that it's been tough for them to adjust and see me not eating their food, because they get offended, why aren't you eating my food? And I'm like, it's not like that. But it's been, now it's not so bad. In the beginning, it was such a constant conversation to try to explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing this and why I'm not eating their food. But now my whole family knows, aunts, uncles, cousins, they support it. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. So my parents live in Fort Lauderdale in the wintertime. So I saw them for the first time in a couple months in Orlando. So they hadn't seen me in a little bit. So they saw me, and I could have swore their jaws dropped. They were like, oh my God, you're so skinny. Why are you so skinny?
You need food? Going back to what Eddie was talking about with COVID. So obviously last year, gym shut down. Couldn't work out. Couldn't get equipment. What did you do to stay active? And
I had a home gym, so I was.
So you had that already set up.
Yeah,
so you were good.
That's where I used to train my clients out of. So
Gotcha.
I had everything I needed. So I was very fortunate. But wild, everybody people were selling gym equipment on Facebook for crazy amount of money.
People were gouging.
My god, I couldn't believe it. I mean, fortunately, I didn't have to deal with that, but I had clients that, because I did take a month off from training clients when they, when we were all in lockdown. So I'd have clients reaching out to me is this a good price for this? I'm like, that's crazy. That's literally double what I was paying for stuff.
Believe it or not, on the other side of this wall, I set up a little HIIT cardio gym that we used to do last summer.
Oh, nice.
Got the tires, the flipping, and the ropes and all that stuff. And I paid some serious money for some equipment, and it was gouging. I look back now, and I'm like, man, it's crazy. People took advantage of this, which is unfortunate. But I mean, now you're starting to see the kettlebells everywhere, and it's getting like Lysol. That's right.
It seems like everybody has a home gym now because of this.
Right, exactly. And you never know what could happen again. I don't think it's going to shut down, but who knows?
I hope not.
But you were in the right path. You already had the gym, so you didn't have to deal with that nonsense. It was crazy. I mean, Dick's Sporting Goods, I went in there one time, and it was just completely wiped out.
I know.
It was some college kids. He's like, yeah, they could be coming with a U-Haul, and they wiped out all.
They're probably selling it all.
Maybe it could be to resale. Yeah,
that's probably what it was.
And I went with my son to pick up some 45s and all that, and up in Canton, and this guy was selling it out of a storage unit. And I know I paid ridiculous money for it, but at the time I was trying to set this up for the summer, and it was just man, I don't understand it. So, but I'm not going to fall for that now.
No, I had clients driving all over the place to pick up weights and dumbbells and plates.
What do you got in your home gym?
So I have pretty much everything. Mostly free weights though. So dumbbells ranging from 3 pounds to 70 pounds. I have a box for box jumps and dips and things like that. Squat rack, barbell, easy bar, weights, plates, kettlebells, medicine balls, universal machine, a cable machine.
Okay, wow.
So I had pretty much everything I needed. Some things I had to modify that I didn't have, but for the most part, it was fine.
Wow.
So you take. Let's talk about now your personal training, how you can help somebody. Obviously, a lot of people, you mentioned it good, a lot of people have the eating disorders, whether it's, eating disorders that, it could be two-sided, I think, right? You could either have a disorder, overeater and undereater, right? Or that somebody's have body issues. You're oh my God, I just ate this meal. I feel like I'm fat, and they're really not, but they're, sticking the finger in their mouth and they're throwing up. So do you deal with a lot of those people? Or is it mostly people who just want to get fitter, who wants to lose weight, healthier?
I can't say I've ever worked with somebody who at least has told me that they have an eating disorder or anything like that. I mean, typically most people who sign up for a trainer are going through something in life that, whether it be emotional or something like that, that's making them forcing themselves to focus on themselves. So a lot of times it's more of an emotional journey than anything else. But I mean, as far as that question, I at least not that I know of, they've never come to me.
So someone who, is overweight, right? They're I really need someone to guide me. Krystal Monteiro, I've been looking her up. I think, she might be the one. They reach out to you. A lot of people are kind of shy. There can be issues with their bodies, whatever the case is. How do you make them feel comfortable to be hey, it's okay? You know what I mean? I guess there's this image of trainers, right? To just go into the gym, they're going to bust your ass and they're going to drill you to the floor. And you have literally got people who are coming off the couch hoping. Is that the kind of people you're going to help too? Or is it just you're looking at someone who's already at a fitness level and you're just going to bring them to the next level?
No. So, I mean, I've trained all walks of life. So, ranging from young teenagers. I've actually trained young kids too. To, people in their 50s and 60s, somebody who needs to lose 100 pounds, someone who needs to gain 20 pounds. I've done all different kinds. So I think step one is always building a relationship with somebody. So I've typically only trained women up until recently.
Okay.
So from what I've learned from that is building the relationship is huge and getting to know their why they're there, what their goals are, what they want to do, and then setting a plan from there. So everything I do is custom. So I'm not going to have you do what you would do, what a 40-year-old woman would do, 20-year-old woman. You know, it's custom to what your starting point is, what your goals are, how much time you have, so on and so forth.
Does that include working with them on their diet?
No, well, it's separate plans, so it's different prices depending on what you're looking for. Gotcha. But I do offer both.
Yeah. So speaking of diet, what do you...
Can I ask one question before we get into the diet?
Yeah.
How about at a psychological level? How do you feel yourself being a psychologist to these people because if they're in an emotional state?
1,000%. I'm 100% probably more of a therapist than I am a personal trainer.
How do you prep? How do you prep for that? Like a mental challenge to get through to this person at that kind of emotional level, because you never know how these people what state of mind they're in.
Well, one thing
One
thing I've learned is no one typically walks in the door and just starts crying, but when you are emotionally spent or exhausted or bottled up, there's something about being physically exhausted that lets it all out. So what I've seen more than a handful of times is, somebody halfway through a workout or just finishing the workout and then having a breakdown. It's more common than you'd think. And a lot of times it's because they've had something built in for so long, and then being physically exhausted, just like their body just forces them to let it out. So, I mean, for me, I care about people a lot. And one of the reasons why I love doing what I do is I love to help people, and I love to help people find their strength, more emotionally, mentally than anything else, because that's where it starts. So I don't know if there's a way to prepare for it, but you just got to listen to people and let them feel comfortable with speaking their mind and how they feel. So
what's a bigger reward? The helping that person at the end of their journey emotionally, or seeing their physical transform? Both
feel great, but watching, I keep saying woman because I typically deal with women, but watching a woman find her strength and confidence, there's no better feeling.
That's awesome.
Because I think once your physical appearance starts changing and you start seeing something different,
feeling better,
I think mentally you start getting more confidence. Probably if you feel a little bit of depression, that's kind of easing off a little. Anxiety, I think it has a
absolutely
huge,
absolutely. It goes hand in hand. Once you kind of take control and master your mind, your body follows, and everything is in harmony.
Yeah. So food, everywhere you turn. For years, right? It was Atkins, it was paleo, it's keto, don't eat carbs. So fast for 16, 8 hours. There's whatever, it's like, what do you think about that? Is carbs more, not important? I know everybody's body's different, so I know people react differently to different macros, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it's like high carb, not carb, zero carbs. Keep your carbs under 20 grams. It's so damn confusing. Somebody who's like, what should I do? It's like, how do you work with your client and tell them, hey, this is, how do you start off with, say someone like me, like, hey, this is what you should do. You should maybe 80 grams of carbs or no carbs. Is that just all nonsense, or is there a science behind it that says, hey, listen, this is what it should be?
So I'll never knock a diet because it's what works for you. Yeah. So I know I'll never follow a no carb diet. So you'll never catch me on a keto diet. Yeah. I did it once years ago because a coach I had at the time, and this was before I started writing meal plans and knowing more about nutrition, and it wasn't for me. But I have a group of family members right now that are following a keto diet together, and they're loving it, and they've lost a bunch of weight, and it's working for them, and they're happy and comfortable with it. So knock your socks off. Do that.
Yeah.
I don't prescribe to my clients. I don't tell them to go on keto. I don't tell them to do fasting. I put all my clients on macro-based diets. So there's basically an equation based off of your body weight, your activity level, and I plug those information, and then I tell you basically how many carbs, protein, fat. So it's going to be different. I'm not going to ever say the same thing to you that I'm going to say to a different person. It's going to be different, and it's basically based off your current weight now.
Because at the end of the day, it's 3,500 calories to gain a pound and to lose it. Correct? It's 3,500 calories, I believe. To lose it. So that science behind it. I know personally if I sit there and I eat a bunch of bread, pop section, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
If I eat a nice, moderate piece of protein, 6 to 8 ounces of protein, a bunch of veggies, I feel good. I don't feel sluggish. I feel energetic. But as soon as I introduce like that refined carbohydrate, so I can only speak for myself.
Yeah.
But then I know people who, eat the bread and the bananas and the peanut butter and they're fine and they're not gaining weight and they feel fine. They're energetic. So I really think it does come down to the individuals.
Absolutely.
But somebody like you who obviously is in tremendous shape, I think, that's it, what works for you. I know you talked a little bit about your diet, but what exactly works for you? So you have in the morning, you said you get up, you have the peanut butter.
The rice cake.
Peanut butter, rice cake.
The rice cake. So throughout the day, is it just because there's this, thing about people who are in fitness, they're just eating boiled chicken and rice and broccoli, and that's what they're eating. Is that pretty much the case? Is that or just a stereotype?
I mean, it is a stereotype, and there's different ways that you can go about it as far as bodybuilding. Like, I know some people that follow. So, I talked about macros in my off season where I can eat whatever I want as long as it fits my macros. There's some bodybuilders that follow that during prep. I don't necessarily think that's a good plan because a couple of reasons. But for one, there's certain foods that are going to affect each person differently. Some people don't digest chicken the best way, so maybe ground turkey is better for them. Both can be 99% fat free. Some people don't have any red meat at all on prep. I have red meat every single day.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So in the past, I've always done ground turkey and salmon. And then this last 2 preps on chicken and ground beef, 97% ground beef. And that has been working well for my body.
Do you know your ratio, like protein you're taking in and the fat and also the total calories daily?
What my actual macros are? So this is going to sound ignorance is bliss, but I don't like to know my numbers when I'm on prep.
Okay.
I like to get a meal plan. Just tell me what to eat.
And then
I just follow that plan. Just because I don't want to know in my head that I'm only getting like 30 grams of carbs, whatever it might be. You know what I mean? I can figure it out easily. I can plug in what I eat and put it into my fitness pal and it's going to tell me.
Yeah.
But I don't care to know.
So you go through this training, April 30th, May 1st, you're going to be on stage. You're working your ass off. You're not cheating. You're not drinking. You're not going out. Drinking anyways. After the show is done, is there a go-to meal?
Yes. So, it changes, but so like this past show, I ended up doing pasta, which is never usually something I crave, but it would happen to be the show got out late, and so it was the restaurant that was open in the hotel.
Yeah, okay.
So I had gotten swordfish piccata and calamari and bread.
It was a couple of years ago. One of your shows, you got pizza in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's always been my go-to.
I remember that, yeah.
That's always been my go-to is pizza. Surprisingly, I haven't been craving pizza this time around. I've been really craving like cheeseburgers and like bread. So cheeseburger is probably going to be my go-to. Well, actually, I'm having a cheeseburger Saturday for my cheat meal. So
with bread.
Yeah, bread, sweet potato fries.
Sweet potato fries.
So,
Ketchup.
Yep,
Because
ketchup.
of the sugar. So
I'll have
French
ketchup.
fries? Do you
Mustard,
work?
yeah.
French fries?
Yeah, I'll have French fries.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, sweet potato fries.
sweet potato fries. Yeah.
Yeah, just because I like them better. I could have regular fries. if I
You
wanted.
were a part of your macros. Is the intake of sugar a concern, or you try to limit that?
I don't really have any sugar at all. So I do have no sugar added ketchup all through prep.
Yeah.
But peak week, I'll take it out. But yeah, I'll have that on my egg whites in the morning, and I have it with my ground beef.
The week before the contest, are you still at that calorie intake?
So it depends where I'm at. So this past show, basically, yeah, we stayed more or less, but we take out my fiber just because it can bloat you. So we take out my fiber and we added in more rice. So my carbs went up. I think calories were slightly higher. This next time around, because I'm already at basically my stage weight, I've maintained it since the last show. And some of the feedback was to not come in any leaner. So the concern is to make sure I'm not like flat and depleted before I step into the stage for this next show. So I met with my coach earlier today, and the plan is actually to slowly refeed me throughout peak week. So I'll get more and more carbs every day.
If you are flat and depleted, do you feel that way inside also, like flat and depleted when you're on stage?
You kind of just feel it. I've never really had that problem up until like recently, where I think it's just because I've been dieting for so long.
Do you see it in other competitors?
Yeah, you can tell when someone's flat
Really?
for sure.
So
Yeah.
Really?
So there's two sides to that. There's one that you could feel and look bloated, and the other side is flat and depleted.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. If you're not getting enough carbs, you're going to look flat and
science.
depleted.
It's a science.
It's such a science.
So how about hydration? Like, does that bloat you? A lot of water? Is there a certain amount of water you can intake before your show?
Yeah. So, I mean, typically I drink about 90 ounces of water every day. And I've done this a couple different ways, and it depends on your coach and their method. So before I started working with Eddie, I had a different coach, and he did water manipulation on like the last 48 hours before a show. So I would drink like 2 gallons of water 48 hours out, and then by the day before it was 1 gallon of water, but I had to finish it by 5 p.m. And then on show day it was like no water besides like a couple sips. Wow. And I'll tell you, I felt horrible on show days because you're so dehydrated.
Your
I'd
lips
have
like that.
Yes,
They
and I'd have a headache. My back would hurt. Like I just felt horrible.
Yeah, so that's
This coach Eddie doesn't do that. So my water stays the same except for on show day, and then I'll just have my coffee and like 4 ounces of water with like one of my meals.
I mean, that must be tough to perform with no water because obviously your adrenaline's up, you're nervous, you get probably nerves, and then as you know, you can start getting that pasty dry mouth
man,
already in your throat. It's just, wow.
Yeah.
And you're not going on stage just once. You're going
Twice.
Twice if you place. Right?
Prejudging, and no matter what, you go
Oh,
on twice. Prejudging and finals.
And if you're in it, it's another time.
No, just no matter what. If you're signing up for that show, you're gonna think of it like soccer: semifinals and finals.
Yeah,
Well, except for soccer, you'd have to. But no matter what, with bodybuilding, it's prejudging, where basically everybody goes out, they do their individual routine, and then they put you in lineup with the rest of the competitors. They call it comparisons. They compare you to the other girls next to you, and then finals is when they tell you where you place.
Like I watch the Olympia, and I see the girls in that routine they do. Do you have a coach for that? Like teaching you how to pose, and move a certain way for the judges or whatever.
Yep.
Really?
So I've had the same posing coach since I ever started bodybuilding. Michaela Raymond. She's out of like Saugus area. So she's awesome, and she's been a game changer because I started off as like a bull in a china shop, and now I'm very confident with my posing. So that took time.
How much time did you think to like nail it?
I mean, each time I've stepped on stage, I've felt like pretty confident because I practice my posing pretty much every day.
Every day.
Every day. I will say more 5 days a week because I do it after I lift.
Is it part of your workout?
It's not part of my work. I guess you could say it's part of my workout. Every day after I lift, I'll pose for 20 minutes or so.
Because you're holding those poses and you're moving. It's still kind of like some kind of physical activity.
Yeah, you're flexing. You're feeling it for sure.
Sure, yeah. Especially after a workout because you're already like, I imagine, fatigued.
Yeah.
Your muscles and all that.
Yeah. But this past time, I noticed that my posing was just at another level. Like, that I actually feel completely confident when I see it. And I'm like, okay, I finally figured it out.
Versus someone
it's
that
everything.
may be just right there with you.
Well,
but
at
the
this
posing
level,
can put you over the top,
exactly.
right?
At this level, when you
movement.
step on stage, every girl looks unreal. But it's your presentation that's going to separate you from the other ones.
Your face was hurt at the end of that from smiling.
Smiling.
I'd be like, oh.
It's funny. In the past, if I look at old videos, and if I had somebody there with me, like I had an ex-boyfriend there, went to my show, and I can hear him in the background smile because I would like get so serious.
So much to think about.
Yeah, you're
'Cause
focusing
I'm
on
sitting
your
here just
presentation.
thinking about being on that stage, all them people, and you got to pose. You got to make sure you look, and then you forget to smile.
Yeah, but this time around it was different. I don't know. I think my headspace is different. That I was just so excited and grateful, and I'm telling you, meditation and all this really has played a role.
Definitely.
My like mentality was just like happy and blessed to even
Because you're in the
be
present,
there.
like you said.
Yeah,
It makes
so
sense. It makes
smiling,
sense.
like I don't know if you've seen the video. It just was natural.
Yeah,
like it
definitely.
just felt real. I never once dropped my smile, and I'll tell you, my face didn't hurt, and it wasn't forced. It was genuinely
for you.
there.
So talk about meditation again. I know you talked about that earlier. So you arrive at the show, you're getting ready, get all dressed, prepped, and do you walk us through it. You get there, do you not want to deal with anyone? You just go in your little corner, do you meditate, do you not meditate, you just kind of get in the game, or are you kind of just loose and you're just talking to everybody and you're like, hey, I got this anyway, so I don't really need to.
So I mean, I'm definitely friendly to anybody I like pass by, and I'll smile and talk to people. You'll see some girls that are like, I mean, so this time around, this was my first time on a pro stage.
Oh, yeah.
So I was a rookie there, and a lot of the girls there might have been like one other girl there that was a rookie too, but a lot of the other girls were seasoned. They've been pros for a few years, so they know each other, they've built relationships. So I kind of felt like a new girl in school when I got backstage. So, I smiled at people, said hello. If I needed help or had a question about something, I'd reach out. But no, I am very much a loner when it comes to backstage. I find my corner. I do meditate.
You meditate.
I listen to music. I practice posing, touch up my makeup. And then you pump up before you go on stage.
Do you get butterflies? You nervous, kind of?
I don't really get nervous.
No.
I get excited.
Do you visualize yourself winning?
Always. I tell myself every time that I'm going to win. So
You visualize yourself on stage by yourself.
Yeah.
Is that thought on your mind when you're meditating?
Like manifestation of like winning? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I've been telling myself for the last 6 months, I wake up every day and say I'm going to the Olympia.
Yeah, wow, that's good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's an awesome goal to have.
You put that out there.
And it's funny because in the past I felt like weird to say that, like cocky or like, it's not cocky. It's just, you have to believe it yourself. If you don't believe that you're going to do it.
You have no chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So when you train clients, what's the radius that you'll take on? Do you do online coaching as well, or
So right now I'm strictly doing online.
just on? Okay.
But for years, most of my experience is through one-on-one, in-person training.
Yeah. So how does someone get a hold of you if they want to?
Social media. I always say reach out to me through Instagram or Facebook.
Did you just enter Krystal Monteiro? You got an Instagram?
You could look up Krystal Monteiro and you could find me that way. My username is superhumanfit _IFBB Pro.
So how did that name come about?
It's so funny. I don't know. I really have no idea. When I randomly made an Instagram, I think it was from like a rap song, to be honest with you. Something
really?
about superhuman. So when I made my Instagram, which was long before I was even a personal trainer, that's just what it was. And then I just really loved it, and then I ended up making my name of my business.
There you go. That sounds great.
I wish there was a more exciting story about it. But
You have a Facebook page as well?
yeah, and that's just Krystal Monteiro.
Krystal Monteiro.
Yeah, Krystal with a K.
All right. So tell us about this show, April 30th to May 1st. So it's April 30th to May 1st.
It's just April 30th.
Just April 30th.
Yeah.
Okay. So you stay the night before, a couple of nights before?
I'm getting there on Thursday the 29th, so the night before.
The 29th, and then
The morning
show's
before.
the 30th. Is that a night show?
I think prejudging is in the afternoon, and then finals is at night.
Is your coach go with you?
No.
No.
He'll go to local shows, but he's got a child and a family and stuff, so it's a lot.
So are you on your own, or you have friends that
Pittsburgh,
come?
I'm going to be solo. So Orlando, my parents drove from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando, so they were there with me. Pittsburgh, I'll be solo. And then for my last show in Tampa, I actually have a bunch of friends and family flying out.
So that in itself, going to a show by yourself is mentally tough, right? You have to.
This will be my first time being completely solo for a show. I don't know. I don't really feel any particular way about it.
Yeah.
I like kind of doing my own thing anyways on those days, so I guess we'll see how I feel once I
No
get there.
distractions.
Yeah.
So take us through that day.
It's a work business. It's
get
a
there
business trip.
You get there the 29th, the 30th. What time do you think you get up? 4 as usual?
Well, yeah, I'm sure I'll be up early, but depends what I still have to wait for my schedule as far as when my makeup artist is going to need me when my appointment is. So this past time it was early morning, which is normally how it is. So I'll assume 6, 7 a.m. I'll get my hair and makeup done, come back, eat a little something, and then go get my second coat of tan, and then
They spray you?
Yeah, so when I get there on Thursday, I get there around 11 a.m., check into my hotel. I'll have to go find a grocery store because I don't like checking my bag for these shows because I'm always terrified they're going to lose my suit or my heels or anything, my makeup, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's certain foods I can't travel with. So when I get there, I'll have to pick up whatever food I couldn't bring.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you stick with your diets? Because you can't.
When you
Obviously,
travel.
if you go to a restaurant, you get a meal. It could be a bunch of salt, right? And that could potentially bloat you.
Yeah.
And,
So what I do is the week that I'm traveling, I make all my food and I freeze it. And then that way I put it in my little cooler bag because you can't bring ice packs because water. So it's frozen and I just put it in my little cooler and I take it that way. But I learned the first time I traveled for another show, apparently you can't bring peanut butter anymore. I didn't know that. They took my peanut butter, they took my yogurt, so you can't bring those type of things.
Even in the checked baggage, luggage? Is that
No, if you don't check.
if you don't check?
Yeah, which like I said, I don't
I
like
wonder
to
if it's
check
because
it.
of allergy issues or.
I have no idea. No clue. I was real pissed though.
They're always changing the rules over there anyway.
I know. So yeah, so that I'll get there. I'll go buy the foods that I need, and then my first spray tan appointment is that night when I arrive, and then the next day you get your final coat of tan.
And then around what time is the show?
I'm honestly not sure. If I could guess, because you never know the exact time. The show will start at a certain time, and then they have like an itinerary. If you're going to go through physique, you're going to go through bodybuilding, you're going to go through blah, 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 blah. And bikini is almost always last.
So between that gap of time that you have, is that when you kind of just get in your head, you meditate, and you're like...
Yeah, I just chill. I'll hang out in my room. For whatever reason, I love to watch cooking shows.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I like to torture myself.
I do too. I like to cook.
So yeah, I'll watch a cooking show,
How
relax.
long does it take to wash that tan off?
Oh, God. So it takes forever.
Really?
It takes forever.
What do you use for soap? Like any kind of...
Can you use like a Brillo pad to kind of...
Well, so that's what I had to do.
Really?
My show was...
Wait, have you used a Brillo pad?
No, I don't actually use it. But basic, mine as well be. No, they have like exfoliating gloves.
Oh, gotcha.
So if you put like oil, like baby oil, that will like help it come off. But if you try to scrub it off too soon when the tan is like still newish, you're not going to get it all off. So you're just going to look stupid
Spotty.
with like
How long
spots.
you gotta wait?
So what I like to do, what I've learned, pro tip, is say my show happened on Saturday, I come home on Monday, I'll like shower like I normally do, but I try not to scrub.
Okay.
And I just put like a lot of lotion on. So I try to like maintain the tan for a couple of days. And then as soon as I start to see it like coming out, like in like the areas where you bend your elbows and your wrists, then I'll start taking, so I don't know, usually it's about a week by the time it's completely gone.
A week, wow.
But it fades. It's not like you look the same color that you looked on stage. One shower, it's already like five shades lighter.
Okay,
and then it just looks like you went on a nice little vacation.
Because they spray that shit down thick.
Oh my God, you look...
I'm like, holy...
It looks ridiculous in person, but you have to do it because on stage the
defines
lights are so
the,
bright.
The lights, yeah.
Yeah.
The muscle, right? Also?
Yeah,
brings
it
out
helps with
trouble.
Well, the
Definition.
definition of the
Yeah.
muscle, but all the lights.
Because if you
like,
didn't with the light, you'd be washed out. You wouldn't see all the definition.
Right.
Especially compared to people that are spray tanned, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't even stand out a bit.
No.
You know what I mean? Because they have the advantage of the spray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just can't go in there with a natural tan. It's
No.
you
No
need,
way.
You need
No.
that, yeah.
No, you need the spray tan.
So the show's over. You're not the show, but that kind of was misleading. So it's you went through your thing. The show's done.
Cheeseburger in the plate.
You come up on top. You're gonna have that cheeseburger that night, or you're gonna wait to celebrate with some
Oh,
friends?
no, that night.
That night.
That night, huh?
I don't care if I'm by myself. I'm taking myself out to dinner.
Oh,
Taking myself out to dinner, and I'm having a nice drink and maybe a dessert. We'll see.
oh yeah, nice. That
Depends how good I do.
That's awesome.
Do you find on a personal level, are men intimidated by a woman that's as fierce as you?
I don't know. That's a hard answer. That's a hard question. Are they intimidated? I don't know. Are you intimidated?
Oh, I'm not intimidated at all about anything.
So I don't know.
I've been through a lot. So
I don't know. It's definitely. I've been in two different situations when it comes to like men and like me and bodybuilding.
I'm not even talking about dating. I'm just talking about like, approachable wise. Like,
Well, I think that kind of goes hand in hand, right? I think.
Yeah, I mean,
once you're in a relationship, it's kind of different being with a female. You know what I mean? Because
But really, technically, though, you
you can still be intimidated in a
right.
relationship.
You can still be intimidated because she's in the limelight. She's out there with like she said earlier,
and just her eating habits
you know,
and her training discipline will make you look like a fool if you're not equally as disciplined in your life.
and you just
whether
gotta
it be
you have to accept
work related, anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying
Well,
to say?
I guess like when it comes to like when I'm at the gym, like
Because let me add something real quick.
Yeah.
Because like right now, with social media and the internet and technology, everything's at a press of a button.
Mm-hmm.
But to get where you're at in physical good shape for anyone, just to be in physically good shape, because most of America's fat. Just let's
Yeah.
be real, right?
Yeah.
And that's why COVID numbers are through the roof, because most people are unhealthy.
Unhealthy, absolutely.
Right? And then no one talks about fitness, but they'll talk about a passport, vaccine, whatever. You know what I mean?
Totally agree.
Instead of saying, let's go and walk, eliminate the soda and the Cheetos and all that bullshit.
Take care of yourself.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people can't get fit with a press of a button.
No.
They got to work for it.
You gotta work
and
for
people
it.
nowadays, I don't know, in your experiences, they don't really want to work. Especially with all these handouts that are going on.
I totally agree.
So with that said, if society's changing and I'm a little bit more old school, and so is Jamie because I've known him forever. Like, we go to work every day, and we try to be better every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that trait exists anymore. It's fading, I would say. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
So that's a problem when you're trying to find a partner in your life, right? Maybe you don't even want to be bothered with.
But I'm interested in what she was going to lead to. You said there was 2 situations in your life when you said if people are intimidated.
Well,
where were you going with that?
I mean, I was going for as far as dating goes. Like, I've dated somebody who was a gym rat like me, and I've dated somebody who had never even stepped foot in the gym until they met me, and they kind of felt like they had to step up their game a little bit. I will say it's definitely hard to have a relationship with somebody who doesn't get what you do,
Or supportive, right?
or that is hard for sure. But as far as like intimidation level, I mean, the only thing I could say is at the gym, like guys will make comments like, "Geez, come on, you're embarrassing me," like stupid little things like that. But I mean, to say if men are, I have no idea.
Yeah, someone at your fitness level, you meet a great guy. He's not into fitness, but he's into golf. He's into doing other things. But you guys hit it off. Is that okay, or you need someone to be like, no, you're going to come to the gym with me. You need to work out. It's not going to happen.
From experiences, I will say that I would probably be more interested in somebody that I have that in common with now.
Yeah,
I've done the other route, and it's not even about physically the way they look. I'm not shallow like that. It's just the understanding of the lifestyle. And to me,
what if they supported you though and said, "Hey, I support you 100%. I'm going to the show. I'm your number 1 fan. Get up there, just rock it." But
I'm going to stay on the couch and watch.
Well, not even just that. Like, I'm just into other things. I'm into, like, I'm going to go golf. I'm going to go do something else. But hey, but I'll be there for you and support you.
I don't know.
I'll go spot you.
I just think for me at this point, from life experiences, that I find it easier to be with somebody who gets it and does it themselves, because it's just, I'm trying to find the right way to word this. It's like I said, it's not about physical appearance, but to me, somebody who does invest the time in working out and taking care of themselves says a lot about them.
Yeah.
And again, they could go to the gym every day and maybe not care about their diet, but at least they're putting effort to take care of them.
Yeah, be healthy.
I'd prefer that, just because at least we have that in common.
It's a good starting point. You're saying in your life.
Yeah, and like I said, because I've been in both ends of it, and I found it a lot easier. And it just kind of life just. Seems
I just thought of something on the
intimidation
question. Like, also, I wanted to hit on the point where, like, let's say you're at a bar with some friends. Do men approach you?
Not really.
Because that's what I'm trying to say. They're intimidated. That's why they don't
approach
her. I mean,
social media, no one's scared on social media.
No, that's different. Everyone has the balls on social media, of course. When it's face to face, that's when the cowards are.
Yeah, no, not really.
MIA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what I meant.
Everyone's got balls.
I didn't really mean on the relationship level.
Yeah.
I meant on, like, the social setting level.
But you're right. I don't know. I don't know how to. I mean, it's not my question to answer, but I don't think you're randomly
as a man.
But I'm not randomly just going to approach. I mean,
at a bar. What do we do when we were younger? Come on.
No, but there's going to be. Listen. There's going to be.
This guy, don't be fooling me.
It's a science.
Approached everybody.
It's a science, though, too, brother. Like, come on, you got to be like icon. You're just going to be like, "Hey, what's up, girl?"
No, not like that. Saying,
it's going to be some mutual, like, "Hey, looking at me, eye contact. I see you. Okay, hey, all right. Like, what's up?" And send her a drink or something. Hey, I mean, you got other guys that be like, they don't care. They're going to just go through the whole entire bar.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, girl? Oh, sorry, strikeout. Hey, what's up, girl? Strikeout.
She's saying no.
Yeah, I mean,
so I don't think that comes down to
really.
an intimidation factor. That part, it's like a little common sense. Like, don't approach every damn woman. Like, if there's a little bit of eye contact, a little flirting going on, then you're kind of like, all right, you know what I mean?
No, it's hard to say. I haven't been out in a while.
Yeah, with COVID, it's a year, so you're a little rusty.
I've been a hermit for a while now. I'll let you know when I get back in the game.
I was just asking.
Are
I have a fiance.
Are you at cemetery?
I have a fiance, so I'm good.
Disclosure. You better throw that.
You better
out
give
there.
her a shout out right now.
Hey, Christine.
He's gonna be like, Eddie, what kind of question did you just ask her? What are you
Can't
getting
be all
at here?
about business. Life ain't all about business. Life is about life.
That's right.
When we were young, oh my god, many moons ago, old man.
Did you guys grow up around here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
New Bedford,
Born and raised. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
I haven't been to many places except Boston.
So funny story. His first nightclub experience was with me.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
go?
In Providence. We had our routine.
Yeah, I don't even know where in Providence, somewhere.
Probably
out
Desperados
there.
back in the day.
Desperados.
Yeah. Over there, in, the club that has like 6 in them.
Oh no, that was Desperados. That was the
Complex.
The complex.
Yeah, yeah, whatever it was. They changed names so many damn times.
We're a little older than you,
A little bit.
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Yeah, when I started working construction, I was with a bunch of old Grim Reapers, man. They were old, had nothing in common. It smelled like cigarettes, BO, all at the same time.
they were disgusting. They
And
wouldn't
this
take
guy
showers.
gets hired. So we're like the 2 young beasts in the company. We're like, oh, that was it, man. Freaking.
We used to
It
drive
was
them
Thursday.
crazy.
So we'd go out on Thursday nights.
Yep.
And so it's funny because Fridays, I was the only one that showed up to work. These guys, I'm
All hungover.
all hungover.
sorry,
They couldn't
I
make
can
it in. They couldn't make it in. It was a good old time, good old days, man.
You were a trooper though. You got it.
Oh, I gotta get in. Gotta get that money.
Gotta make that money.
Gotta
That's
make
right.
that money.
Not me.
Count me in for Saturday too, boss.
Crystal, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, an
You've got a
honor.
lot of great
Absolutely.
information. It's a great interview, man. I wish you the best of luck. Is that going to be streamed? It doesn't stream live or anything. Where can you
I'm
see
not
it?
sure if this one is. The last one I did was not. Some of them are. I'm not positive if this one will be. But if you wanted to look it up, npcnewsonline.com will normally have all the shows
Okay.
listed there, or ifbbpro.com.
Yeah, so I'll pop that link when I post this
or
as well.
share my IG handle and I'll post it when
Yeah,
that time comes.
So when I post everything to social media, I'll post all your links to your. You have a Facebook page as well. Yeah. So Facebook
and
page, Instagram.
Yeah, and if anybody's interested in personal training, programming, they can reach out to me right through there.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
That's-
Thank you.
What's your message to a girl that's out there struggling, just got out of a relationship, feeling like shit, gained some weight over the COVID, and she kind of has to turn over a new leaf in her life?
Focus on you. Take care of you. You can't pour from an empty cup. And whatever you are is what you attract. You want to attract better quality people in your life? Become the best version of you.
That's couldn't say it better than myself.
Very true.
Very true.
Crystal, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much. It was
Had
an
a
honor.
blast.
It was
Thank
an
you.
honor.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.